Brilliant. Laura, let me know how I can help.
Awesome. So just to give you a background, Alex, I come from a corporate background within the security industry, and I've worked my way up quite quickly, and I'm now going into an account manager role. But on the side, I have been dabbling in sales, particularly high ticket sales. So that started at the end of last year, beginning of this year. And essentially, I was just in a position of like learning from various mentors. I've done a course, and I was looking for offers. Now, I've had about 4 or 5 offers now that haven't kind of, transpired into anything in particular and haven't really given me the opportunity to, learn the skill of sales in depth or get as much experience as possible. In saying that, I am in a current role as an appointment setter. So most of my roles are closers, but this role is my first appointment setter role. And again, just seeing a few red flags. So besides sales, I've also been doing virtual assistant work on the side, and that's been going really well. And not only in my job, but also in general with my clients and things like that. I've always had great commendations about my work ethic and, my standard of production, and that's going well, right? So I've had a thought about whether I should actually start, I guess, offering coaching within the VA space as a service and potentially create my own high ticket sales offer, or should I focus on still getting sales experience and learn as much as I can? So I'm in a bit of a pickle as to, do I still try and find an offer that will give me that experience, or do I take the risk to start something of my own, essentially? And that's the reason why I thought I'd get the call with you and get your advice.
Really interesting dilemma, if you want to call it that. And it's probably a good problem to have, in that you've got two very different but interesting paths that you could take. Laura, if you had a blank check and a magic wand and you could design your life, what would life look like? What is that vision?
So that vision would be having the freedom and, optionality to do what it is that I want. This year, my goal has been to acquire my first 5-figure month. So that's something I'm still currently working towards, getting closer and closer, but, it's still something I am looking to achieve. But yeah, really to be, as people would say, financially free and just be able to make decisions for myself. So in saying that, though, I am more than happy to learn. Like I said, in my corporate job, I've climbed the ladder very quickly. I know about your view already on having a corporate job and, being able to learn so many things. I enjoy it. However, the ultimate goal is to have that freedom and, eventually help other people down the line.
Got it. That's really helpful. And the reason I asked is just to help me shape my thoughts in terms of where you go next. So you've now got this option of, in essence, taking what you've learned and starting your own thing, or spending more time acquiring more skills, or at least deepening your knowledge and understanding of the high ticket space. So when I zoom out and just think about this holistically, or you look at any business holistically, it's really a conveyor belt which has got a few core pillars on it. So if we simplified or distilled down, you setting up this VA business, you're going to need some way to generate traffic, i.e. leads. You then need to be able to qualify those leads, which is what you're doing right now, close them, and then fulfill them, right? Drive service delivery. And so I'd encourage you to, in essence, look in the mirror and do a bit of a self-audit to say, based on where you are right now, when you those 4 pillars, what can, how effective are you at each of them and to what degree? And where would you need support for someone or a set of skills to fulfill those other pillars? Because if your end state is, it sounds like, to become wealthy and freedom, infinite finality, the best path to get you there at a certain point is going to be you setting up your own agency, because that's the thing that over time will breed the most optionality. But
Yeah.
you also need to have some clarity that if you do that today, you haven't yet built that base of skills to be the most effective closer that you could be. You've got to again have clarity about where are you getting traffic. It sounds like you've got a great skill set for the qualification component, and it sounds like you've got a pretty good skill set for the fulfillment component. So I would just look at those aspects of the conveyor belt and just really figure out what can you more roll in from day one versus what you're going to need support.
Sure. One thing I will say, Alex, is being a part of various businesses as a closer and now as an appointment setter, I have been able to observe how they are filling their services, how they're, dealing with needs, how they're acquiring needs, etc. And I've done a fair bit of kind of, practice myself in terms of cold calling, outreach, whether that's warm leads or cold leads, whatever it is. So if I'm to answer your question now, just based on what area I would definitely need support on, it will be on filling. And the reason I say that is because when it comes to VA stuff, I have been doing it for myself for about coming up to a year. But I wouldn't say I have the most experience. I wouldn't say I have, the best kind of use of various tools and things like that. However, I've dabbled, right? So the reason I'm in this dilemma and really considering what to do is because I'm a big believer in credibility, and I don't want to, I guess, put myself in a position where I don't come across as credible because I haven't had as much experience. However, in my lifetime, I've been very successful in just kind of winging it, and it's worked out. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I think it's measured of you to think about it in that way. And what I would say, Laura, is that there's a couple of things to consider there. One is that it depends what your offer to the market is. So if, for example, your offer was, we provide a service where we upskill a VA based on 10 years of experience of doing it, this doesn't quite correlate. But if you have got a blueprint and a system which takes someone from point A to point Z, and you're charging for that, and you know that you can categorically fulfill on that promise, then you should feel good and confident about going for it. If the reality is that due to your lack of expertise, there is just a gap in the offer that you want to make, in your ability to support, then you need to reconsider. The only other thing to bear in mind, though, is that fulfillment is that, sorry, Laura, there's not a lot of background noise. I don't know if it's not doing down any.
I don't know why. Hold on.
It might be a bit of echo. Don't worry, I think it's...
Sorry about that.
No stress. The only other thing I was going to add is that while you have gaps, for example, in fulfillment, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you hiring a coach or someone who can do fulfillment that does have more depth of expertise than you. If your specialty is higher up the stack, the qualification, jumping on calls, then great, spend your time there and go and hire someone who's been a VA for 20 years and have them manage the fulfillment and you be the overseer. That way,
right,
you can probably have more confidence in your offer and your ability to deliver the outcome for the prospect.
Yeah. So when you mentioned earlier about, from what you said anyway, what aligns with me is getting that prospect from point A to point B, because I've had a lot of people want my services, but I'm only one person, so I can't offer them what my services, right? So if I was to, I guess, fulfill some sort of promise of, look, I know how to get there, I know how to show you how to attract leads, but also I can potentially offer you, an offer at the end, because some people just they haven't even started. Do you see that as something that's quite feasible?
Well, it's absolutely feasible. I mean, all of these conversations, Laura, they're just a war on perceived value. So you have an offer that costs $5K. It's not that $5K is inherently expensive. It's whether the reality of that person's situation and your ability to take them from A to Z is deemed to be 5 or 10x in value what you're charging. So it's never that the price point is the barrier. It's whether you can generate enough perceived value based on what you're offering, how that person perceives your ability to get them there. If they believe that enough pain in their current situation and you are the most efficient way to get them out of that felt pain and into a new outcome, they're going to pay you whatever it takes. But if they don't, if there's a mismatch there, that's where you'll have friction. And that's why some people start their businesses offering things like free trials to then get case studies and then leverage those case studies to then ramp up your price. So sometimes you have to start in a certain place and then scale up over time. I will say, Laura, I hope this has been helpful. I've got to keep these up. We're in at 11 minutes. I've got to try and keep them to 10. But I hope that this has been helpful for you. And please do keep me updated. I'd love to hear how this pans out for you.
No, thank you so much, Alex. I'm sorry again about the echo. But yeah, that has been really useful. So I'll definitely take that away and have a think about it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Enjoy your Saturday. Cheers, Laura.
Thank you. Bye, Alex. Bye.